All right, guys. So let's get started. So first thing that we're going to do is set up render. Before we do that, just want to make sure that we configure our environment appropriately so that we have the right things in place. Um, so what I'm going to do here is, so I'm just going to comment out this code here. So I'm going to use the configuration that I have out in the cloud through render. Just going to comment this out and make sure it's using everything that's out there. There's probably a better way of doing this, but for now, this is fine. Username. Yep, that looks good. So save that. Let me find my screen. API. All right. All right. So with the database I just changed, or no, let me double check because I think this has the old thing. I need to get them on the same directory, but I don't have it set up like that yet. Sure. All right, so that's the old one. That's fine. So I need to update that one. This one is, all right. All right, so I have it running. PWD, get CPS. Okay. Just get CPS 262. No, it's not that one. Yeah, I need to do some housework here and get this all paired up. But for now, let me double check. Yep, that's the one I want to use. So I'm going to copy that and paste it. Place it. I'm just going to verify this is the new file. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so let me go to terminal. Yeah, so all right, so I'm just gonna add it. So I'm gonna push it out to GitHub. I'll show you something that you could probably do on the fly, but just be careful. Git add dot git status. I just did a commit. Modified db config for render. All right. Okay. Now I never get this, but now I'm getting it today. All right. All right, so let's try it again. Branches ahead of origin main. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This never happens to me. It happens to you guys all the time, but it never happens to me. But today it's happening. Everything's up to date. All right, so I'm about to play this game. All right, give me a second here. Play the game. Sure. So I'm just playing a game. Let's see if it allows me to commit it now. Oh my god. Really? I got another computer, so this is why it's happening to me now. All right. Yes, I'm at global. All right, let's see now. All right. Size. Oh my God, your branch is ahead of origin. Get push. Really? All right. All right, where is my screen? Nope, not that one. A minute ago. All right. I said change it. So what I was going to say is, if you wanted to do this on the fly and not have to, like, if you're changing your fig out, you could just come in here and edit it, make your changes and commit it here. But just make sure that when you are trying to update your code locally, make sure you go out and do a git pull origin, or you'll have that funny example that I just had where it doesn't want to work. There is probably a better way of doing this when I clearly think it out, but on the fly for now, this works. All right, so let me go out to render. I am going to click on new web service. I can make that bigger. I'm going to build and deploy from a Git repo. Hit next. Last week, I don't know what was going on, but it was connected to my other account for some reason. So I'm going to click connect. You only want to connect your API. So you're going to have two repos. Well, you got multiple repos in your section, API and web. We don't want to connect web because web is going to be connecting a different device, and we don't want to deploy that because it'll mess everything up. All right. A unique name for your web service. You could call it whatever. I'm just going to call it it's inventory. Just going to call it inventory. You could pick the region. I just picked the closest. This you choose. It's going to be default domain branch. Root directory. Don't have to do that. Now, this is where I have to remember what I have to do here. Runtime. So when you run your web service, like we type in node server.js, you want to make sure that you have node selected here. If you're using something else, like if we're using Docker, then you would do Docker. So however your application gets built, since we're using Node.js, we could just use Node. Build command. This is what I don't want to put yarn, and I'm trying to remember what I want to put here. I think I want to put I think I want to put Node here because this is the runtime that we're using, and then we don't say yarn, we say Node server.js, so it has to know that. And then this is what we want here. So we want to show what it needs to deploy. So we know that if we run it, we have to type in node server.js or whatever you called your file. So I'm going to say node server.js. I'm also going to choose free. Obviously, it's going to have limited memory. It's probably not going to build all the time, which is whatever. But for what we're doing, we want to keep it cheap. That would be all that we have to do. I almost want to check my other account. So bear with me before I do that. I'm going to verify it on the other account I have. If I can remember what the hell my password is. I just want to see what I have there just to make sure I'm telling you the right stuff. Um, I don't know if he'll let me see the metrics of it. I don't remember. Oh, previous jobs, settings. All right. Let's see here. All right, main branch. That's what we got. Node. We don't need a pre-deployed. All right, server. All right, then we're good. Then I led you in the right direction. All right. So then I am going to choose create web service. All right, so now let's see if it works. Now it's starting to deploy, cloning the repo. It's fun when it doesn't work. Building it, trying to build was successful, which is always not, isn't a guaranteed thing. Trying to deploy it. Takes a minute, especially if it's free. So what it's trying to do is build our API service. All right, what just happened? Your free instance will spin down with inactive. Okay. Detect a service running on port 8004. Oh, I meant to change that, but all right. Docs are specifying blah, blah, blah. It's still in progress. If you see at the top, you could cancel your deployment if something's going wrong, but right now it's still in progress. And it will create I believe it creates a log out in GitHub as well. So then you have that GitHub connection. So while this is building, um, oh, hold on. All right, it says it's live. Woohoo. Um, all right, let's see if it's really live. All right, so I did the node server. Let's go to environment. All right, so at the top up here, it has your URL. Oops. I think you could change this somehow, but whatever. I'm just going to keep it as is. So the good thing is the Hello Point Park or whatever, Hello Point Park works. So what I'm going to do here is I need to grab this. And remember, on Postman, you have to use Postman download. Well, no, you can use the web for this one because it doesn't matter whether you're online or not. Oh man, is that really small? Um, anyways, I am going to go ahead and create a new session here. I'm going to choose as a get. I'm just going to use my same stuff that I had over here. So I could copy. Oops, we don't have a thing here. I need to make this screen bigger because I don't know about you, but I can't see it. I got glasses on. All right, so um, let me remember how this works. Okay, so I need to do at the end here. I think I could be wrong. It's been a minute since I did this. I think I need to put that information on, but I might. You know what? I might not need it 8004. I might just be able to go like this. God, I cannot see this. That's going to let me zoom in. All right, cool. All right, sucks getting old. All right, so I think I could just do this right here. So let's see if it works. Apparently, I can't do that. Jason, thought I could just do it like that. but I don't see why I would need to put the port number on. It's been forever since I tried this. All right. Yeah, that doesn't like it. So let's do this for curiosity because I know it works. I mean, that part works. Version 1 and um, let's do this. All right, so it's not working. Something is, it should blow up and give us an error message. It says logs are unavailable because the server failed. Yeah, I know it failed. Oh, all right. Error database 1 does not exist. All right, so it's trying to connect to a database that doesn't exist. So that's beautiful. Because why is that beautiful? Oh, you're right. Damn, nice pickup, Sam. So we're gonna cheat because I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna comment that out right here. I'll know that if it changes. Um, render spelling because I didn't comment out the remote database. Thanks, Sam. All right, so we're gonna commit that. Now we gotta wait because it has to be rebuilt again. So now the service is rebuilding. Yep. Don't do yarn. You want to do Node because we're not using yarn. You can use yarn, but we're not. They say yarn is better than Node, but I don't know. I haven't had any luck with it. So while this is deploying, one of the things I'm looking for you guys to do for homework assignment leading into next week is obviously having your link up and running. So when you submit your link, you'll be able to check it. But this week's homework's worth 150 points. There's a lot of work to do. So you have to do the things that we do today is we'll do a filtering for get, and then we'll do the update one, which is put. We won't touch the delete. I'll say why later. And then we'll do the post. And then ultimately, you have to come up with some type of test plan of things that you're testing. So we'll go through that details. But if we were paying $200 a month or a week, this would have been already deployed. Um, I am using. I pay $7. Well, I don't pay, but the company that we do, I think they pay 14 a month, and it does deploy pretty quickly. So while that is deploying, once that is deployed, we will be able to basically do what we were doing locally. We're going to be able to do it up here. I don't think we have to put the 8004. I think we're just going to be able to do that. And then once that's available, we'll be able to deploy it here, and that's how we'll access it remotely. Wow. It's taking its time. It's probably happening if someone else is deploying and they're doing theirs first. Or is it done? All right, so 20 years. Claims it's done. So let's see if it works now. API inventory, send. All right, we got no results. That's great. 502 gateway. Server was acting as a gateway proxy receiving a valid response. Why? Failed servers. All right, we still got problems. All right. Running on port. Should have saved this for last. It helps when there's a log to look at. All right, error message. Types does not exist. It's because I changed something around. I know that's what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Shit. The database. When I redid the database on this computer, I changed something around. So that's on me. All right, let me get access to the database. Give me a second here. I gotta see what this database is. That's my fault. Um, you know what? I have it on my other computer. Let me access it real quick instead of me trying to set that up real quick. It'll be a lot faster if I do it here. Bear with me. I want to see what it's called. That means I got to change it here too. So, give me a second. Admin. I changed it on the fly. I got another computer and I didn't map it out. So if you did everything I did, yours should work without a problem. Mine messed up because of me not paying attention. So what's happening is I used a different query statement. I put select from types. That's called something else now. That is on me. And is it called? What's the database called? Inventory. schema is, oh, did I call it types? No, tables. Oh, I called it wine. Wine type. Son of a bitch. All right. Database is called wine. That's right. I did ID and wine type. Oh, things are not going to work. ID and wine type. All right. So let me modify it here real quick. So I'm on the same thing. I got ID and wine type. Why did I call it types? Oh, I changed. I called this types, and I should have called it wine. Oh my God. So then I have to make some adjustments real quick. Like I said, if you did everything I did minus what I just did, you'll be fine. So that should be fine. I just need to update. I think it's just a query. That's it. I just need to update the query. All right, so let's do this real quick. We need to do get pull origins. Just that change. And that's fine. I need to line these up. It's going to drive me nuts. All right. 607. $634. All right. Maybe I do it directly from here instead. That's the same thing. So let me do this. Let's do new window. Try to make this easier on me. Repos. Yeah. Sure. All right, bear with me. Programming is a fun thing because when it all blows up, it's pie in your face. All right, so all right, cool. So now if I go into queries, I just got to change that to wine instead of types. That should be my solution there. All right. So let me upload this code real quick. Make sure I got that. All right, cool. Get status. Yep. Get status again. Get commit. Change the DB name to support remote. All right. So now we're going to do get push. Oops. Yeah. Origin. Okay, so now the deployment should kick off again. So we're going to go back out the dashboard. It's deploying again. So the nice thing about this, I mean, this is not a nice thing. This is a bad thing. But the nice thing about this is I changed that code real quick. I pushed it to GitHub and instantaneously picked it up and said, there's something happening. It's seen a change. And then, boom, it kicked off the deployment. So now it's deploying the script automatically. Now, I have it set to automatically deploy it. You don't have to automatically deploy it. You can have it on a manual thing. Like at work, we don't have our deployments on automatic, or it would be complete chaos all day long. So we have things set manually. So and then we have a approval process to it as well. So we have to prove it before we do it. But for what we're doing and just kind of learning, this is a good start. I should have saved this for last because I didn't know it was going to takes so long. I thought it was going to be a piece of cake, but nothing's easy. Now, if you guys did it the way I walked through it, yours will work. Mine, I just um, ran stuff real quick. So mine were all database related. Like Sam picked out, I had database in twice, and then I fixed that, and then I needed to adjust my query. So hypothetically, after that works, we should be golden, and we should be able to deploy, check it out remotely, and then you see how it works. And then we'll go over to adding more code. So first thing that we'll build is the ability to um, do a filter on our stuff. So as soon as it's deployed, I'm almost ready to even try it. All right, so it worked for once. So I go out to here, make this real big, and run this and make sure I have the same thing. I have a get response right here, hit send. I got data. It only took 20 minutes. Now I have data. It matches out perfectly. So now this service is running remotely. So anything I want to develop, if I want to develop an iOS or Android app, no big deal. I could use this API, pulls in data that I use. If I want to build a front end application, not a problem. I could use this API and pull in my data. So you see how that works? Is you set everything up as a database. You set up a microservice, which is a web service that has an endpoint. We just have one endpoint right now, and now you could call that endpoint and pull in your data. It's beautiful, beautiful process. It's almost as cool as making wine. All right. Next thing. So hopefully we got something out of that lesson. Um, lesson was make sure you do your database right. Let's see here. Let me close my 6,000 windows. And we're going to keep that minimized for now. And same thing here. And let's see which one. I don't want to. Which one did I just do? That one. I think. Let's see. PWG. Yep. So I'm going to close this one out. All right. So now what I'm going to do here is we're going to build some other features. But what I did do real quick is I went out. Hopefully this will show up here in a minute. Maybe it won't. Hold on, is that the remote one? That's the local one. Let me refresh it. Where's the refresh button? I didn't see it. All right, there we go. So what I did here is I went and added another field called wine name, and I added one value right here. So what I'm gonna do is when we build, this is really small. When we build out the API and we get to the put, then we'll do the put before the post, and so that I'll show you how we could update values and so forth. So let me go back over to code and make this a little bit bigger. So not only can you see, but I can see too, because I can't see. No. All right. So what we want to do is, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to build out our API, because right now, if we go back here, well, geez, if we go here, the only thing that we can do is we could just pull all the data. We want to have the ability to filter on something, a value of some sort. So allowing us to filter on stuff allows us to query it. So it's just like, hey, select table where something equals this. That's what we want to do. So for example, I want to be able to come out to here and query my database and say select everything from wine where, I don't know, wine, I'll say wine ID equals 3, for example. So if I run that, it's going to give me the Pinot Grigio. Sure. So it's going to give me a Pinot Grigio. That's what I want to do, is be able to filter on an item. All right. So first and foremost is we have to change. We have to go into the queries. So I'm going to start with a query and add a query here first. Try to make this as big as possible. There we go. All right. So I'm going to create a new constant. I'm going to call it get inventory by ID. And I'm just going to say select all from line where. I'm going to put a where clause in here. And so I'm going to specify on the ID. Later on, we could talk about other things with it. So what we want to do is send it a parameter. So we want to send a parameter to it. So what you need to do is anytime you're doing a filter, you have to use the $sign and 1. So let's say that you had multiple things that you want to filter on. You want to say select everywhere or select all from line where ID equals this. And maybe you want to filter down and say, and this equals this. Then it'd be $sign 2. And this equals this, $sign 3. Every time you go down, it's the next numeric, and you have to use the $sign. If you've ever programmed in PHP, very similar process. But this is our way of sending a parameter known as expecting something. So when we send it to it, it'll know. So for example, when we do a post, we'll have multiple $signs because we'll be posting multiple things. And then what I'll do here is I'll just put this here. I'll come down here and I'll type in get inventory by ID because we want to publish that out. Everyone with me? So that's the first step. Is anytime you want to add another endpoint to do something, this time we want to filter on something, we're just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to save it. Don't know if I have my auto save on. Do now. All right. So we did that. The next thing that we want to do is we want to go into our controller before we even hit the other aspect of it. So we want to get inventory by ID. So now all we're going to do here is build a way to allow us to grab the data, but by specifying an ID. So the controller has to be set up appropriately. So what we're going to do here is, I was going to copy and paste, but that won't work. So let me go here. You guys see that? Let's delete this here. Now, all right. So we'll say constant. And we'll say I'm going to keep it similar by ID, so that way I know what it is. Oops. Equals. I'll do a request, and I'll do a response, and I'll do a callback feature like that. Within my code, I'll set up an ID. That'll be my specific ID I'm using. I'll say parse, because we want to parse it because it's going to come in as a string. So we're parsing ID. We're going to do request. And what we want to do here is params, because we want to specify a parameter that's coming through. All right. Why is that not like that? All right. Don't worry about it right now. Should be fine. All right. So request parameters.id. That's fine. Next thing is we need to set up the query. So pool.query. And we'll type in the name of the JavaScript folder that we have the queries in. So I'll just do queries dot, and then as you see here, it pulls up because we exported that. We're going to choose get inventory by ID, and then we're going to do a comma, and within brackets that looks like an array, we're going to specify ID because that's what we're looking for. I'm going to see error message and results. And we're going to do a callback feature again, function, like that. Still don't know why that did that. Huh. All right. We'll deal with it when it comes. And it doesn't work for some reason. All right, so now we're going to do if message. We're going to say if error, throw an error, and we're going to say response.status. We want a 200.json results.row, rows, plural. And, okay, we need that right there. That might be our problem. All right, still didn't like it. Oh, I'm an idiot. This is my problem. I'm trying to figure out what I did. I have to use parentheses, not the brackets. All right, so we have constant get inventory by ID, request, response, callback feature. All right, so we need to come down here and push this out as well. We need to see get inventory by ID so that it exports that out and is able to be seen somewhere else. So this will be how we do an ID itself. This will play key when we build put requests, modifications, because we have to modify on the ID value. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so let me save that. It should be saved. I'm going to go over to routes because we have to add a route for this. So what I'm going to do here is just copy this, be lazy, and paste it below it. Only thing that we're going to do is change this up a little bit. Right here, I'm going to put a colon ID because we're specifying that we want to be able to add an ID so that it knows what to do. But the other thing is we want to change this around as well because we want to grab the controller that is working on that. So we know that the controllers get inventory by ID. So that way, when we make that call, when we say pass number 4 or 3 or whatever, what it'll do is it'll call the controller. Controller will get access, and then it'll say, hey, let me check the query out that it does that. And then it'll grab the query, which then pulls back the results. And then, at the end where it had get rows, then it displays those rows in JSON or that single value and provides it. So I'm going to close that out. I'm going to go over to server.js to see if I need to do anything over here. I don't think I do, and the reason being is because I already have this inventory endpoint. And it ports back to my inventory routes, which goes over to inventory. So we don't need to do anything here. If we had a different folder for different routes, like say we were setting up a shipment page or we were handling something for exporting, then we'd have a different route because we'd have a different endpoint. What I need to do, or I'll never be able to test this locally, is I'm going to need to go back into my database configuration and change my config around again. Like I said, I know there's a better way of doing this. I just don't know what that is off the top of my head without playing around with it. So for the most part, I'm going to change this around again. All right. Username is Postgres, and my database is wine. Yeah. So I needed to make sure I save that locally so that I can test this out and see if it works locally. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll see if it works. So before we do that, I'll go out to my query here and look what value number is 3, which is Pinot Grigio. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to come up the terminal here. I'm going to run this. And we're going to say node server.js. So it is running. I'm going to come over here, and I am going to come over here and run localhost. First thing I'm going to do is make sure it works before I go and try it. So I wanted to make sure everything works, which is fine. In order to add an ID at the end of it, you could just put a value. So I'm gonna put the number 3. We know it's Pinot Grigio. I'm gonna hit send. I think that's it. Yeah, hit send. Okay, and look, it provided Pinot Grigio. So it allowed us to filter on it in here. Now it'll be a lot different from the user interface. User interface, we're not gonna have an ID. We're gonna have a drop down, or we're gonna like input a value that says Pinot Grigio or something like that, and hit. We're gonna do something differently, but for this case, we did number 3, and it said, so it just basically is select all from table where ID equals 3. And I could change that around to something else. I could put 6, hit send, and then it filters on Chardonnay. And then if I come out to the database and filter and run that, 6. So this is actually part of your exercise, your test plan. So when you built one of these for yours, what I'm looking for on the end result is for you to provide a screenshot showing that, hey, I verified it, I ran it through Postman, it provided this result. I went over to the database, it provided this result. That is how you run QA on it and make sure the result set is correct. Any questions? Gotta use Postgres. It won't work because if you run MySQL, you can run it locally and you can run it on a remote session, but the hookup to the API, Render would have to have the ability to build MySQL, and I don't think they do. And even if they do, we're using Postgres for this class, so I'd say stick to it because then I could help you troubleshoot it. But good question. Anyone else have a question? Fun fact: before I started here, they were using Postgres, and then I think Mark switched them over to MySQL. Postgres is a little bit more powerful than MySQL. The thing is, the only difference between Postgres and MySQL is some of the data types are a little bit different, but for the most part, the same thing. Any other questions? All right. So, like I said, I am going to try to do an update statement before I do a, well, maybe we'll do an add statement first, an insert statement. So so the first thing I want to do is validate that, I can do an insert statement. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the same table I have here, and I am going to, or maybe I don't want to, yeah, we'll use the same table. So let me zoom in here. So I'll write insert statement. I'll say insert into wine. I'll add my values. Oops. And I'll just say, I know that my number 11. So I know it's number 11. Wine type. I gotta make something up. Right. I'll put Cat Franc. And then wine name. I'll put Cavalier Franc. Yeah. All right, so that's my statement. So what I'll do here is I'll run it. Shows that it ran. I should be able to, I should just be able to do this. Put the number 11 here. and see if it says that number. Boom. So that worked. Now I could write my, I could go ahead and write my query. So I'm going to stop this. Oops. There we go. Don't want to stop. All right. All right, let's try the right one. All right. Now that we have that, we have to also do the same sequence. I'll start with queries first and add a new query. So I'll do a constant. This time I'm just going to call it. You could call it insert. You could call it. I'm going to call it add wine equals, and then I'm going to put my statement here. So I'm going to say insert into. What do we have here? Wine. You're not going to hard code a value because you want to post something in there. Now I was going to remember how to do the statement now. Anyways, insert into wine. Then you're going to put the fields that you want to insert into. So you're going to build it very similar to this. Only difference is I'm going to specify the field names. So I'm going to have ID. I'm going to have wine type. And I am going to have wine name. Okay. Then I'm going to put values. We have 3 values. So they're going to be, like I said before, we have $1, $2, and $3. Because we don't know what the values are going to be, ultimately. Oops. Like that. And put a semicolon at the end of it. So this will allow us to run that same statement that we used. I am also going to have to add it down here. I'll put get add wine. Oh, get add wine. I'll put add wine, comma. So now we just updated that query to be available. So once we write the controller, we'll be able to grab that query to be able to add the data. So all we're doing here is just inserting into a table with fields, and we're using $sign per parameter 1, 2, 3. As many parameters that you have, it'll just be the next number, $sign. Any questions? All right. All right, so now I'm going to close that and make sure that's saved. Same sequence I follow. I am going to go over to my controller, and I'm going to build a controller for it. This one it's going to be called add wine or whatever, add inventory, whatever you want to call yours. I'm trying to think if I could copy and paste that. That's a little tricky. Let's do this. I'm going to copy this and then change it a little bit because I don't feel like typing it all out. All right, so I'm just going to paste that down there. We're going to change this value around. I'm going to call it add wine. Yeah. I guess I could say add wine controller, but keep it like that. All right. So we have a request, a response. A little bit different here because we're not parsing out a string. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up a constant. This is, you're going to do open, close brackets, and what you're going to do differently here is you're going to put the names of the fields that you're using. So going back to the database, I'm using ID, wine type. So I'm going to put ID, comma, wine type, comma, wine name. So I want to put those in brackets, and I want to put equals request body. What that means is in the body of the can't even talk, in the body of the postman or request, we're gonna have a body, and then we're gonna have like the squiggly lines like that, JSON, and then we're gonna have the values here. So maybe value, well, we'll just say 75, comma the next value, comma the next value, right there, and then we're gonna submit that. So we're gonna send these values over to the API. It's gonna then, in this case, while we're doing what we did here, it's gonna, once we send it, we do the request. We're going to pass in a value, so it gets that value. So we'll say it's 12, whatever that value is, and that value. So those are going to be your parameters that picks up the values and stores them and allows us to use them as an insert statement. All right. So now we have pull.query. So we're going to change this around again because we need to have a new, mine's called add wine. Also need to specify, see here, maybe I don't need to check if it exists. There's a way that you could check if the value exists. I'm trying to think if I want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. So let's not do that. All right, so talking to myself. All right, so pull.queries.addWine. And then we have to specify right here, you know how like we have the brackets? We have to do the same thing here, and we have to specify the names of the values. So I'm just going to copy this here. I'm going to paste it here like that. So name of the that we're doing add wine. I am we'll still have our error and results, so that'll still be the same like that. We'll still have our error message that we have below, where it says response. We're going to do something a little bit different here because we're not looking to get any data back. We're actually sending data, so we'll do .send, and then I'll put some type of console message here so that we can see it in the other thing. So I'll say edit new inventory item successfully. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I do need that. I'm pretty sure I still need that. Let's see. Yeah, same thing. Double check here. All right, so now we need to do an export down here. Add wine, comma. So I'm just looking at this request response, ID wine type, wine name, request the body, pull that query, queries, I add wine, passes it. Okay, that looks fine. So then I'm going to close that and hopefully I save that. Then we have to go over to routes. And we need to add a route for this one because now, you know, we want to add the ability to add a value here because at this point, it's going to be very similar to this. So I can do, what I'm going to do is copy and paste this and change it a little bit. I'm trying to think if I have to change it. For some reason, I feel like I have to add a value there. I think I have to add a value in the route. I think I'm trying to think what it is because we want to show that we're adding. I think I could be wrong. Let's just see. So router.post, because now we're doing a post. Post means we're adding something new. I think since we have in the controller, we have the body. We don't have to specify anything here. So I think I can't 100% remember. But I'm pretty sure. So we could do our controller dot add wine and do that right there. So now we just built another controller. This one allows us to insert new values. Pretty sure that's all we need. So then we'll close that out. I'm gonna go back over. I don't think I need to add anything to the server because we're just using inventory. I think we are good there. Now I might have to cheat a little bit and see how to send the post response because I don't remember, but we'll try to figure it out together somehow. So I'm going to see if that works. So I'm going to deploy the service. Right, so good thing is it's running. All right, so let's copy this, create a new one, post. All right, so keep that like that. Go to post, and we need to go to body. And this is where I'm trying to remember what we need to do here. JSON, yes. I think it's raw. I think it's like this. We'll find out if it's wrong. So I have it looks like a squiggly line, whatever. Oh man, what is it? I think you have to specify the name. So if I do ID colon, and then you have to specify the value. So since it's we'll say, let me see what it is. Oops. What's our value? Nope, not that one. 11, 12. Okay, 12. So 12. You know what? Maybe it's this. All right, let me look at my other computer because I would have an example out there real quick. I just don't remember offhand. Once you do it all the time, you won't forget. But when you haven't did it in a minute, you can forget. So let me see if I have an example on this one. There we go. Huh. Any old ones in here? That's all right. All right, so I'm looking up an example. I just don't remember. All right, there we go. Really? All right, so it's okay. So it's colon. So I guess I was almost right. So it's like this. You have those in double quotes, and then you have a colon at the end. So I had it backwards. And then you do your comma. Okay. All right. So now do comma. Oops. Then I'll do the next value, which was wine type, colon, and then I'll do double quotes. And let's see what value I want to add here. What did I add? Oh, I'll put Syrah, and then I'll do a comma, and I'll put, I think it's called wine name, and I'll put black sheep. All right, and I think because I have 3 values, I don't think I need a comma after that. So I just have to have it set up like this. I have my API inventory, got my posts, and all I have to do is hit send and hope for the best. All right, it worked. How about that shit? So it says added new inventory item successfully because we put that in our controller. So how do I check to see if it worked? A couple ways. I could go to the database and look. But what I'm going to do here is I know it was value number 12. So I'm going to go ahead and use my thing that we developed. And I'm going to check on value number 12 and see if it comes through. I'm going to use a get response. Hit send. Look at that shit. Sorry. So it pulled up the value that we added. So by doing the post response, it allowed us to add a new value to the API endpoint. I was able to validate with the endpoint by passing the value number 12, which is what we're filtering on. And it has that there. And lastly, to show you it worked, is I could just come out to the database and select from query, and it worked. And it had a new value in there. So that's perfect. So now we wrote an API that allows us to add, allows us to filter, allows us to pull everything back. So like next week when we write the front end, we'll have fields, like 4 fields or whatever you want it to, submit button, input values, hit submit, then we'll save it to the database. And we'll be able to have a screen that pulls it all out. Any questions? Is this fun? I see all excitement. All right. So now we've learned a bunch of new things. Now we need to learn how to make changes. And that's your modification. All right. So once again, where do we start? Where do you think we start on the changes? What is going on with that? What do you think we do next? We want to do an update statement. Update. Where do you think we start at? Not all at once now. Queries. We have to add a query first. All right. All right. So I'm gonna do an update statement. I'm gonna like to go out to the database and run a query to make sure it's gonna work. So I'm gonna say update wine set. Um, we'll say wine name. Wine name equals new value. Um, call it new white sheep, where ID equals 12. So I want to make sure that my query is going to work right before I go out and run it on the fly. So it updated it. I'm going to query it, and it changed it to white sheep. So I knew that's going to work. So now I'm going to come over here and set up a new value. I'm going to say update. I guess I should have called it update inventory, not add wine. So I'm going to say update inventory equals update table, which was wine, and set wine name equals Set y name equals what? So what do you think we're going to pass in here? Yep, $1 because that's our first parameter. So update wine, set wine equals something that we pass. And we could do space where ID equals, if you thought about it, you're right, $2. So it's the second parameter value that we pass to it. I'm going to do a semicolon here. I am then going to come down here and choose update inventory, comma. That will now update my API. I'll come over to controller. And if you guessed it, you're right. I need to add a controller to allow me to update. So update inventory. All right, you guys with me? All right. This is a big one. All right, I'm trying to remember. This one's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna do a constant update inventory equals request and then response. Callback function. Oops. Callback function. All right. So we're going to do a constant. We need to grab the ID right off the bat. ID equals parse ID or parse integer. Sorry. Request dot parameters dot ID because we need to grab the ID. Constant. Let's see. What do we want to pass here? Update. Let me think about this. Update wine, set wine name equals. All right, so that's what I want to do is focus on this right here. So I'm gonna copy that. All right, so we'll say constant. I'll put wine name, so that's the value that I'm going to be updating. Equals request body, and then we're going to do pull query. Hold on. We got some real estate here. All right, pull query, queries dot get our I. Oh, what is missing here? Huh. Oh, update. I'm sitting there thinking something's not right. Update inventory. That's what I called it. Jeez. All right, comma. Same thing as before. We need to add an ID, because we're going to be specifying an ID. I guess I copy and paste this a little bit. Error message. We want to see results. We want to do a callback feature. Boom. Shit. Right. Oh, I didn't want to do. All right. All right. Let's see. Maybe I did this wrong. Pull. Oh. Pull.query. That might help. Pull.query. Queries. Update inventory. Oh, you know what? We need to pass in. Not only do we need the ID, but we need wine name in here as well. So we need to add both. Error message, results, callback feature, yes. All right. Then if error, throw error. This is why you test it locally before you deploy it and hope that it doesn't blow up. response.status 200. Now we're going to do a send again, and we'll say updated inventory successfully. Feel like I messed something up. Let me see something here. Come back to that in a second. Add wine, constant ID. Huh. You know what? I don't think I need that. I'm gonna comment it out for a second. I think I just need wine name equals request body. Wine name ID. Huh. Because when we did request body up here, we did ID wine type ID. So I'm thinking that I need wine name and ID. Yeah, so I'm thinking I need that up here as well. Just like that. I wonder if I need it in a certain order because we're going to do ID wine. So let me do this. Bear with me. I'm just thinking about it now. So I think we're going to need a similar thing. ID wine name, update inventory. I'm going to do it backwards. We'll know if it doesn't work. All right. I think that's it, but I feel like I missed something. All right. So we'll figure out if that's right when it doesn't work. Update inventory. So then I'll come down here and type in update inventory, comma. All right, perfect. Save it. And then I'm going to come over to routes, and we're going to need a route here as well. So we're going to do router.put. This put is, and then we'll do comma, controller, dot name of the controller, which is update inventory. So there you go. Hypothetically, that is all we need to do, I think. See, we don't have to change anything here. So when we got the terminal, let's run our service. All right, let's go out to here. We got a post response. I'm going to grab this, create a new one. Yep. And make that a put. I'm going to steal some information here. I'm going to grab that. Go to body. Go to raw. And I'm going to pass in a value. Actually, we just need wine name. So we're not passing in all those values. We're not updating all that stuff. You can if you want. So we're going to say number 12. We know the value is white sheep. I'm going to call it PPU sheep because we know it's not that. And we're going to see if this works. So I'm going to hit send. All right, so it did not work. I got some weird, could not get response. So that's never good. So if I go to my code should have some blow up message. Perfect. So if it blows up, it will tell you some error message. Sometimes it makes no sense what's going on here. All right. API inventory controller. As I figured, the message is Dutch. So let me pull up Sublime. See if doing this makes better sense. All right. Anyone see what my problem is? Line 7. Invalid input syntax for type integer, PPU sheep. All right, so I messed up somewhere. Maybe I did need that ID. Remember I took the ID out? So, so maybe I needed that after all. So where was that at? Controller. I had this here thinking I might need it, but I wasn't sure. But it doesn't like it. Why does it not like it? You know what? So let's do this. Leave a comment out. I'm saying inventory update inventory by ID. So we're passing this in. I'm wondering if I just need this right here only. All right, let's see. I'm misprogramming, but I don't miss it. All right. So let's go over here, run it again. That didn't like me. Son of a bee. All right. Error message. Bind message supplies one parameter, paired statement requires two. What's it not like? Update inventory. All right. Well, I did have that ID there originally. Huh. Let's see. Alrighty, where is? Pull up queries. Queries that update inventory. That's what we got. Comma ID error result. Let's see. Name ID. Name ID. Let's do. Let's wipe this out completely. All right. Update. Line name, comma ID. All right. Update line name, comma ID. Or message. Is there something I'm missing? All right, so we're gonna be silly here. I'm gonna take that out. We're just playing some games here and see if it likes it. Terminal. I did this before and I just don't remember the answer. All right, we got a better error message this time. I wonder if I still have to specify it. ID is not defined. After the ID is defined. All right, let's really F around with this now. All right, so we have update inventory. Let's do constant. Oops. Constant ID equals parse. That's what we had before. Integer request dot parameters dot ID There we go. Then we have our constant wine name equals wine body. Maybe this is what it meant. What did it say on that error message? Maybe that's what it meant. Um, maybe that's what it meant. Let's see if that's what it meant. So save that for a second. All right, what the fudge? Now won't even let me run it. Oh, because it's saying now it's getting it. It's starting to hate me. All right. What? I changed it to 8054. Hmm. Did it not see that I changed it to 8005? The fudge is going on. All right, now it's going to give me an error message. All right, what's it saying? Reference ID is not defined. All right, how many times do you want me to define it? All right, what is going on? Hmm. All right, let me see if I got my code from the other service that we did. I don't know. Bear with me as I do not know what I'm doing or remember what I'm doing. So I am going to validate code that I have running in production today to see if it tells me what I'm missing. Of course, it's not letting me do it. Let's see. All right. That's a view. Where's the play at? Update. All right, so I found one that's doing updates. So it's updating this here. Oh my god. Please don't die on me. There we go. All right, so we got inventory request response. Find one that I have working similar. So we're doing an ID, same thing. What's it doing there? It's doing const. All right, so it's putting the values that we are looking. Oh, so it's not. So it's only. It's updating. So what I'm seeing here is we have to put the ID because we have to parse it, and then we have to put what's in the body. We know we're going to have the ID in the body. We have it up here, and then we're putting the name of the value, which is y name here, equals request body. So that is right. Let's see here. Pool.query.queries dot update inventory. That's fine. Comma. We have the name that we're updating. I don't think we need, looking at this, I don't need to specify. Oh, yeah, I do need to specify ID in here. But wonder if it's because the way that I'm sending it. You see how I'm sending it? Oh, geez. Where's that? I'm sending it like this. I'm wondering if I need to send it like this. And I didn't think about that. It's because it's coming over like that. So I'm wondering if that's part of the problem. I have to specify the ID last, because that is how I have it here. Cool queries to update inventory, y name, ID, throw error message, response. Yeah, that's how we have. This is how I have it in the production system, and it is working flawlessly. So let's see if this makes a difference. Oh, now server's probably going to change. I mean, this thing was pretty good for a while. All right, so now let's run it. So we just changed the format. So y name, PPU sheep 12, hit send. Let's hope for the best, please. Oh, you know what? I'm also running off the wrong port. So that might also make a difference. I just realized that. That might help. Not sure why it never. All right, so it didn't work. Invalid NAND type integer. Why did it not like it? Update inventory. NAND. Invalid type integer. What the fudge is that? The only thing I think about is because we switched things around, and I thought that was the solution. I guess I need to restart it. Huh. All right, well, this one I don't have a solution for, so I need to dig into this deeper. Once I dig in it deeper and figure out why it's not working, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, don't stop there. See if you could figure it out. The put is not working. I'm not going to waste any more time trying to figure it out. Here, I will figure the problem out, and I will solve it. Now, if you solve it before me, please let us know. But go ahead. Yours work? Was it set up the same way? Okay. Well, on the put. So you mean you put it here? Oh, okay. So you're saying that you put you got rid of this here? All right, and then you have ID right here. Just ID itself. Other value. All right. And then you have it like this down here as well, right? I feel like we had it like this. All right, and then it updated for you. Okay. I'll give it a shot. Did you have something else? Okay, cool. Perfect. And when you did your parse, did you Oops, oh, that's weird. You had your ID and then your name value that you were changing. Okay. So a good thing is Christian did get it to work. So, and this is the code he got to work. Mine didn't work for some reason. I have to see what's missing on mine. But if you have this written like this, you should be golden. I'm going to run it again. That is weird. Yeah, mine didn't work. I don't know why. I'll have to play around with it and see why it doesn't like me. It could be something silly. But if socket hung up, so I don't know. I feel like it should work. And, oh, you know what? It's saying unnamed portal parameter 2. Maybe it's my query. Oh, I think I see it now. I think I'm double check here. I think that's it. I think it is my query. Because I'm saying update y name equals 1. I'm setting the y name first where ID equals 2. So when it gets sent over, I need to have y name and ID in that order, for mine at least. So I thought I changed it. So I have it backwards. I swear I had it this way before and it didn't work, but anyways. Okay. Does that make sense? Um, all right, put. You know what? I also feel like you know what? I think I knew. Damn, I think I knew the answer. So I think it needs to just have the value here, and I need to put it up here, number 12. Did you do that, Christian? Or did you put it in here? No, I can't because then I would have to put it in the string. I don't have it set up like that, so I'm overthinking it. All right. I got 200 okay. So maybe it worked for once. So I'm going to go and do my get response. I only changed it 65 times. Doing number 12. All right. So it took 650 tries, but it finally worked. Thanks, Christian. Um, and you see, it just kind of messing around with that, seeing what I was doing wrong. And it took a minute to really realize what I was doing because it was all based off of the query. I had a query, so how I was passing in a value made the difference. Um, that was complicated. All right. This video is going to be very long, so you can fast forward through all the bad stuff. All right, so this session we walked through the controller, queries, routes. At this point we've learned how to add new data, filter on data, modify data, post data. Now you could do a lot of other stuff with it. You could modify multiple things. You could post multiple things. You can do a lot of stuff, but we're just learning the bare minimum for now. Um, so I'm going to stop the recording of this session itself. If I see where the hell I'm at. All right. So good hour and 41 minutes.